We're in for a long night, and so are the players. This is going to be an epic battle to epic conclusions as we get through game 2 and move into game 3. Right now, there's a lot on the line for everybody trying to catch back up. A number of these guys end up falling short in the first 2, or maybe had a good 1 game or 2. Now is the time to really differentiate yourself.
What draws that line is who has that shockwave launcher, dictates how that end game feels like. All starts off with early though. Midi has been so good at showing us how each game operates during the first stages of the game, but Caddy Corner is where all the action is at. Let's see what happens in game 3. Let's see who takes a big title, a big victory royale off of the rest of the lobby.
And that spread might be changing slightly, as we already saw a number of different people changing up their spots. Adity switched up to Steamy Stacks, but no success for him. A number of players kind of went with him, but we'll start to see stability in a lot of these fights. And we're looking now at Midi in a fight against, it looks like Crack Danelle on the outside of this. Oh, okay, unfortunate for him. Salty Springs is free for Midi, and this might be the key to his success. At 112 points right now in 5th place.
I think one thing people don't talk about enough is where the bus starts and ends off. We kept looking at the map having so many people on the south side. This time, south is where it's going to be a late drop for a lot of people. While Crack got taken out, Macon is just barely landing. And this is going to be the story of him versus Penguin, who gets that launcher first. Macon's got some peppers to make the story start fast.
Wondering if it's at the gas station up on the north side. A massive split for all the players landing at Caddy Corner. We already have the gas station completely controlled by what I must guess is Cool Penguin, but I have to wonder, Kit most likely is up on the north side this time, because twice in a row it's gone to the gas station.
Who knows? Statistically speaking, yes, it's looking like it too, but every time we call it, Kit just appears. It's like he knows he's on broadcast right now, setting up another trap for Penguin, but I think he knows he's nearby. He only has an SMG. This is up against a charged shotgun. There is one down that Macon can actually pick up before this fight starts. It's on the other side of the wall, though. He's going to be bounced straight out. That's fine. Attack shotgun. No, with the charges there, just has 1 shot, though. He might have to opt to switch to that attack shotgun if he wants the ammo. He actually doesn't even care.
I think the big threat here, you can see Cool Penguin playing slightly differently, although he got quickly over to the Pepper House, which might indicate the shockwave launcher is in his possession. Also the fact that he's disengaging already, but even 40R Storm doesn't have it. So I'm guessing it has to be in the hands of Cool Penguin, or it's just not grabbed yet, which I find very hard to believe.
Kit might have not woken up from his little caddy nap. Who knows though? It's just really cool to see this side of the POI not contested and 4DR just having a game to start off cool, calm, and collected. Usually this is where all the action happens. But you don't get the farm all the way up.
It's never been this quiet for me where I've actually gotten a chance to take a look at all the things in Caddy Corner that worry me greatly. The robot factory. But no, seriously, where's Kit? Nanolite is at the bridge. Rox came off of Caddy and now is back against the wall against Rox, who definitely shouldn't have that many materials and already wasted so much of that harpoon. We saw him go down earlier out of Slurpy Swamps to rotate outside his zone. Now Nanolite in the fight. He will clean it up, but does take a little bit of damage to the hands of Rox. And all that time that Caddy has been wasting, okay, it is, there it is. The surprise is gone. Cool Penguin had it all along. And again, that's 3 in a row that it's gone down to the south side, 2 in a row now that Cool Penguin, since he switched over to Caddy, is going to be taking advantage of this, and he's let 40R Storm go and then coming back. Still no shield though. Thankfully, there is that gap where you can now place the card and get the shield from the vault with no danger whatsoever from the other players.
It's like a rubber band strategy here at Caddy Corner. Cool Penguin getting all the loot, leaving, snapping back. 40R Storm getting his early drop rotation, leaving, and snapping back for the leftovers. I mean, it's a good solution to the 50-50s we've been seeing so far. It just feels like Macon and Cool Penguin will not back down.
Another very, very important fight. Epic Will in 4th place. Somebody who's playing very consistently. He was 10th in the first game with the 4 eliminations and then 7th. Improving on his placement, but only 1 elimination in that second game. Well, he doesn't have the glider gun this time. Still time to find it, but also has room in the vaults, at least to double dip. See if there's anything left for him, but look who's there. It's DFavs. DFavs fell so far all the way to 6 in the last game due to falling somewhere outside the placement thresholds. And they won't engage this early game. Too early for them right now. They just want position. They just want to get all the loot that they can before going for the surge bases and the rotations.
Man, this NA Benji is always in an early game fight. Definitely looking like an NA type of player. Less Benji. But he's got the setups that the GOAT does. Missing the shots though.
Benji wasn't made in a day, bro. He wasn't made in a day. Okay, there's a little of it showing off. And Debo now on top of that roof. Very difficult. No trades at all for him. And Benji somehow, some way, finds his way in an advantageous position. Advantageous is correct as he wins the fight. And that's his first points of the day. Now finding some footing, hopefully out of retail row. Avery, 120 points. He's in first. And in a fight against one of the best West players, it's Ladies Man on the other side of the wall.
And he gets absolutely rejected, swiped left on with that crash pad. And now Avery is just looking for a way to buy some time. I was gonna say to shield up, but he's got none, so he needs to land a big shot here. Ladies Man still trying to come through with those pickup lines, but oh, almost gets dropped down to his doom. It's all good. Avery, though, stuck in a really hot spot. He's gonna have the Bills there for the big block, but gets a trade that wasn't really good for him at all. He's trying to edit out, had the position for a big headshot, but
oh, that's gotta feel bad for our first place right now. And also, we lose a little bit of clarity that we might have had if Avery continued to do well. Ladies Man now puts a stop to that, and with 48 points, he is in range. Everybody is at this point in the tournament, as we're only in game 3, but that is one of the most important eliminations that he could have ever asked for. Of course, we won't know the story of what would have happened if Avery had survived in this game, but he could have started running away with it. So for him to put an end to that now is crucial.
Hey, it's more room for Penguin, more room for Macon, because Avery's a hype player. He likes to control the lobby. He never really stays quiet. Now we have 2 more loudmouths to look forward to, and they'll have more control over the end of this game. Man, Caleb's got some decisions to make. Not only is it one of the most trickiest parts of the Fortnite map to rotate through, the edge of Weeping Woods, he has to deal with authority right in front of him. Salty Springs to the left, and he has an end game loadout. Launch pad, crash pads. If he gets in trouble though, that bottomless Chug Jug will be able to save his skin. And right now he has a position on Baka. He's gonna line up the shots, land just 1. And he doesn't know that those shields actually cracked. I think Baka just has 1 HP left of shields. So Caleb will actually move along. Rightfully so though. Zone is catching up. I'm also getting lost. But now he's stuck. It's a bridge fight.
What is this from Baka right now? He's on the back of some stairs and Caleb will go in with a crash pad. The opportunity was like completely given to. He had a path forward. The player who was in front of him stopped what he was doing. He was firing upon him. There was a little bit of lobby spray, but wow. Okay, I guess that's how that works. 40-yard storm pressuring another one on the outside of zone as well. That second has closed. Now the peppers popped. He has to continue in this game to do well. 90 points. Don't forget where Avery was, 120. Definitely room for him to catch up, especially if he can pull off a game 1 performance that he did. But again, slowed down in the last grand finals after game 1. His issue time and time again.
Nah, he's got the tools for speed in this game. I just don't want him to trip over his own builds. 9 minutes of peppers. One already ticking. He's at that pocket chuck spot. Actually choosing to drop it. I don't know what he picked up. It might have been crash pads because he's moving over to a fight, but it's RPG. Okay. Making Furious Polo. 3 different players. Only 1 rocket though for Storm.
Saw Furious in a fight in Slurpee the last time in a position like this. Macon is already low, but Polu is the one who goes down. RPG might have slipped through. 40R Storm, I think, fired that off at Furious. Yes!
Oh!
Furious is down, and all the loot is now 40R Storms. And potential for him to get another elim against Macon, which would be crucial too. Don't forget, these guys are fighting off spawn. I like that from 40R Storm. I like that a lot. Backs off away, says, Macon, your time to loot. And then quickly with the pepper, the speed could have been catching Macon off guard. Thankfully, it does not. Back over to the other side of the map, it's Epic Whale inside of a bush. And it's quiet for him.
The 3rd time I've seen Epic in this situation where he's staying so quiet, not even making a sound or a peep until like the top 5, the top 10. Is this the strat to stay consistent, to place 4th overall after game 2? I mean, if he gets into positions like these, if he gets beams on the optimal, I mean, there's a chance.
Can't let this pass.
Absolutely. Wow. No chance for optimal.
There was a second there where I was like, oh gosh. All of a sudden, the chance that he had to not only get the elim, but also all the damage on that one would have been passed. Mark will go quickly on top of this fight from very far away. I'm surprised to see this, and Epic Will has to be careful now.
I get it. I understand the strategy for Epic Whale. Everyone is maybe looking for 1 or 2 more chests, maybe 1 or 2 more items, but what you have to realize is that there's 82 chests walking around for Epic Whale to just pick off if they come to him. Some bite back though. Mark is trying to. Might just put a clip, a montage up if he gets this elimination, but right now Epic strat is working out. He has an entire 1,500 mats to play with on top of his own after getting that elimination onto optimal.
And a sneaky escape through the bush and then down the river. Only a couple tags off the side of the mountain. Going forward still, maxing back out if you can. And there's a path forward through the river, but there's going to be a lot of congestion. I'm curious how this is going to play out because we have a zone towards the Dirty Docks side of the map and potentially even up towards Steamy as it's still sucking a lot of space right now.
The Temple's here again. We saw him in semifinals. He was playing so well. Another player on Epic's wall, but it's feared. This man knows exactly when to take fights, when to disengage. So a good person to base up beside for Epic Whale.
Oh man, I love this from Epic Whale. Gets the quick tag and realizes that the lobby is certainly going to focus him, and he stays on the side there. He does not have to worry about that at all. But still from down below, Fired is getting involved in great affairs. How does he get out of this right now? Because look at this line of players on the bottom right of the screen. Of course, you could see it on the wide shot on the left side right there. 5 players in a chain. He's gonna dive the box. Oh no. Susumu, a dire mistake. You might have needed that, but on a player like Epic Whale who's looking at you, who has a shotgun ready and prepared and charging up, it's not the situation. Another one goes down on the side. Hands of Clutch ZG. Surge is active, so that's why these players are making these crazy decisions. We don't see it on the replay mode, but it is active right now. One more player needs to fall, and he does. It's Dex.
Dex is out. This time we see Wood actually a POV of how he looks at fights, why he's really tracking down on players. And this is another side of the zone, the complete opposite. North side, Steamy Stack. So many players are still sticking to their old builds, not moving first into zone. It's water that they need to cross. Pure Wood cannot make a bridge. He has to just take the dive. When will that happen is the question. There's Sharks also side by side, looming, just waiting.
I think a big thing for them is that the players up on Steamy Stacks need to come down before they can really make that rotate. Otherwise, they're gonna be stuck for a while, but it's a question of chicken and the egg. Who comes first? Is it Frist or Wood? Oh, the beams are back against Frist. Oh gosh. And there's also the players in the backside. Similar to the Dubs and Mega situation, now Lobby is focused on you because that wall is weak. First staying in the zone for a second, and he's really lasting for quite some time. But how do you make it past this? It's got to be crash pads, but crashing across an ocean of pain for Wood right now.
It's done. He had his chance. He chose to sit back and try to chomp against Frisk, but he's the man with the big bite.
This is the only thing he could do right now because he's almost certainly going down. Is the only thing he could do is go against Frisk and try to make sure that this Elim counts, especially now his zone starts to tick for 2, but Frisk will take the height from him. Wood cannot take a tick at all, or he's done for. He has less than 1 HP, and that's it. Done for. Frisk also, and unfortunately stuck on the beach. There's no saving grace in those situations.
It's where greed cannot be a thing in your mind. You have to just be thinking about the future, especially if you're only playing 6 total games and you only have 4 left. End game is where you can get the most points. Favs knows that. 6th place right now. Average placement of 19th, so he's really looking at a spot where, you know, he's almost making every end game.
And how unfortunate, given the fact that looking at this zone right here, where we saw Frisk, where we saw those 2 players fighting off in the zone and trying to get across the beach, is where the zone goes. And look at how many players are in the bottom left of this. Literally the entire lobby. You have 61 players alive. I'd say less than 10 of those are up on the north side.
Other than Amizo, who just got beamed out, the big thing about the people in zone right now, none of them have really taken any damage. They're all now playing that same smart game. They're thinking about the rotation and playing safe for tags. No one is peeking, really. And Favs picked up a crucial launch pad there, but elects to crash all the way to the next side. He's doing so on a line that no one's really even looking at. 59 players and not a single eyes on Favs. Oh no!
How things can change so fast. Eyes might not have been on you, but there's P-God, and he picks up a big one. That's his first elimination after the clutch semifinals performance to make it here today in the grand finals, but still a long way to go. Thankfully, a lot of crash pads picked up for P-God, and potentially even more. Epic Whale still up in this too. He has to make the same rotation as everyone else, but for somehow, some way, it's looking so much different for Epic Whale compared to everybody else. A free rotation up towards the top of this power position and a big base now made for him. Don't mind the transparent walls. He's fully boxed up in a 2x1.
Nah, he actually dipped his toes in the pool before taking the dive. Favs went straight for it. Crash pads, regardless of what the sightlines were looking like. Epic Will waited for people like Favs to get nervous, rotate first, and then just kind of walked in based on all the commotion. This means he gets to pick where to base up. As Bala mentioned, what a good spot, fully metal, fully boxed. And he's in the center, in between any position the zone could go. If there's one person to focus on, it is Epic Will for position.
And don't forget, given the fact that half of this zone is off the water, it's going to bounce back west, almost certainly in a good position here if it does bounce up to that southwest. It is going to get revealed in the 3 seconds, so we'll have to see where that actually ends up. Epic Whale, it's centered pretty much up north and the other side of congestion, and he's already looking on how to do this. Keep an eye on the wide right now for all the players that you want to be performing right now. Macon, Tatai up in this game. Bucky's still up too. Fired has made it here. So has Mark. Agers. There's Turtle Tavern in towards the middle. And then here's the other side of the zone.
And the Storm Surge bell has rung. Everything's locked in and everyone's going crazy for beams box to box. This is the last chance people really have for box fights until they have to move and fight against these long-range beamers like Izo. Like Midi up top and Epic Whale too. Cool Penguin is right there too, right beside 40R Storm again. These guys are boxed up in the same place.
All the caddy players.
In the same hands, yeah.
They literally rotate next to each other every single time because they spend so much time with the mythic spot, with the vault and all that. Now the rotation off the side of this, everybody who stayed for the time. Look at Epic Whale, he's gone. Ooh, what a shot from Izo and a fire. Yes, it counts. And now the crash pads, no, it's a launch pad. Perfect. That's the saving grace. He's gonna get in. No, maybe not. Maybe I called it too soon. He's gone out the air. and it's Daniel who picks him up. Epic Whale, meanwhile, has made it through without spending any mobility whatsoever. The big problem from him is the materials. 51 builds going to this 5th zone. He's gonna have to find something, but we know he can. We know he's capable, and he's going for it. Inside this box, yes, he's in. There it is. Moni down again. And Epic Whale has gotten all the way back up to 118 builds. Problem solved.
Moni's like the end game loot llama for the top 10 each game, going down, giving full refreshes to the people who take control of games. But let's talk about control right now. Trix is someone who has a high ground position. Frapfly, don't count him out. Top 3 in almost every single West competition. Is by himself on builds that no one's even near. He gets to make decisions all on his own. Decides to do what he wants to do next. Knifer and Legendian are there, box to box. P-God is looking really healthy in the fray of everyone's builds. I'm most worried though for Quinn, Bucky, Newell, Assault. These guys in low ground, a place which you cannot predict what goes down and what happens. Makin's there with no shields.
I think a big opportunity here for Epic Whale, given the fact that 6th zone bounces behind him, and I think he might have the opportunity to stay on a mid-ground layer in this game. Every other time we've seen him down low ground, trying to find anything, scrappy play, and ending up falling. Here's another Elam. Yes, the knockdown from a diagonal box. The spacing, so well known for Epic Whale. Another one, too. Now up to 5 Elams, and he found a launch pad and all of that. 148 points now. Epic Whale is starting to turn on in this 3rd game.
I'm getting word from production that Epic Whale has heat-seeking bullets in his charged shotgun, and he is not stopping, and he is not running out. Crash pads put down. He was looking bad before, but he's only ramping up now. 5 eliminations, mid-ground layer. P got ahead of him. A huge hurdle to climb. Penguin, though, is chilling. He's got that shockwave launcher. He could be the doom. He could be chaos that Epic Whale does not expect.
But within chaos, Epic Whale has found something working for him. Up on height, he reconnects. Now looking at the front side, it bounces back, but not all the way down on the coast. Epic Whale is going to try to make a cheap tarp over and reconnects again. But there it is. There's some crash pads, and you know the threat is looming. Where is the shockwave launcher? Where is Cool Penguin, who's going to be the biggest threat against Epic Whale's reign up on height?
He's still holding it down, but mats are starting to run low. Just 500 to 600 total. Midi and Trix are fighting for spots all the way to the front. P-God is stuck in the middle with a nanolite box fight. Zumba is once again 2nd height. Will he fight again? D-Gen bounces all the way forward, but it's Epic Whale still with 3 crash pads, still in control. Getting taken over now by Nanolite. Does he have the launcher? Who knows? Bucky is taking out Assault again. 6th place knocks out 7th. Bucky has everything in his hands to control low, but Epic is still near height. 2 different POVs on the right side of your screen. Epic is looking for the next shot. D-Gen protecting himself. Nano right behind him. There's a shockwave launcher. Yes, indeed, it's on Nanolite. He can win the game.
And Epic Whale actually fought back for it. He got it back so quickly. Nanolite, though, now has completely launched it over. Epic Whale takes a little bit of damage, but thankfully finds a spot. He's still going to pressure on height. Still going to pressure against Kit's shockwave launcher and getting so many tags on this, too. He's still up here. Nano has fallen all the way. No, he's all the way back up. And Epic Whale, again, has to start dropping down, but so high up. And how does he fall?
Believe, Epic Whale, believe you can do it. You've blocked so many down now. Just one more crash pad. He tries for some shots all the way up top, but Nano doesn't budge. He's box to box again, though. Tracking his prey on low. He's barging in. Epic Whale, does he find the shot? Yes! He's seeking once again, and he gets mats to defend himself, but just barely. Just 10 left. He gets a little bit more loot, but just 20 HP. Can Epic Whale do it? Box to box with Zumba. Knifer gets the first shot. He's just trying to find a way to get through all these hard mat fills. Finally taken out, though, by Mr. Chris. Now Bucky is our last saving hope from mid-game. Can he stop Nanolite up top with the shockwave launcher?
And don't forget, Nanolite was starting to crawl up the standings too. 98 points before this began, and given that Epic Whale fell in 11th, Nanolite could take the lead over Avery and everybody else at the top of the leaderboard right now. Bucky, box. Oh, he's got P-God in a box. A dangerous player, but he will start to add it through. But now taking zone damage too. There's the Siphon. No floppers available for that, and another crash pad through. He's got to get in, and he does. All the way bounces in, maybe on a mid-ground layer. Nanolite's still up ahead. 3 players are going to have to fight on low ground. Bucky against 1. Yes, and now against Legedian. This is going to take some time to work through.
Now Nanolite's just been waiting, listening, watching for all this going down. He's trying to shoot shockwave launchers down below. He's got double-digit rockets. Bucky gets Legendian out, but is it enough? He has no white health anymore, has to get his shields back up, and Nanolite is still just raining down these balls of fury that just will shoot Bucky straight out of the storm. These shockwave launcher nades, so hard to protect against. Bucky has the materials to survive, but for how long? It's going down to the final seconds. A 1v1, Bucky gets the shot out. Nano falling down below, but it's not gonna be enough to get Nano on the low ground. Bucky running out of health, 1 more HP. Nice job, Nanolite, good win overall. That's game 3 for Nano, what a sick win.
2 NA East players in the final 1v1, but it's Nanolite who gets it. So again, we're gonna come back after a quick break for game 4.
My crew, yeah, we're lawless. Got the man, them thinking that we're flawless. Yeah, mama told you that I'm gorgeous. Got a million tricks, can't deport us. I'm a flame in the star, call me gassed. Back foot slidey, I'm slick to the mass. Calling to the tribe, it's a revolution past. Present in time, no, we can't be masked. So you better rise up, cool up, size up, shout out loud, down before the time's up. So we better rise up, cool up, size up, shout out loud, down before the time's up. If we break bread, then I'm coming like a eeler. If you want beef, then I tomp beater. If you want beef, then I tomp. 789, that's procedure. If we break bread, then I'm coming like a eeler. If you want beef, then I tomp beater. If you want beef, then I tomp.
Three games are done, and we have 3 games to go to find out who is going to be taking the first place spot for our North American West portion of the competition here at the DreamHack Open featuring Fortnite. I'm your host, Kelly Link, and we have Bala TW and Shia Wager on the commentator spots. And it's been a pretty good first half of our grand finals here. It's 100 of the best players of the North American West region in a super stacked lobby game after game after game. And these guys aren't just fighting for the bragging rights, chat. No, they're fighting for their portion of the $250,000 prize pool that we're going to be seeing every month You're asking me, Kelly, I want some of that money. Who doesn't? Well, you guys can sign up for each of the regions. You can sign up for all of the regions if you guys want. So make sure to follow DreamHack online to find out when our next tournament is going to be, and maybe you guys are going to be one of the players that we see online. Bala, Shayo, thank you guys for joining me here again. And as I just mentioned, one of the players that we're going to be watching, what is a player that you are now going to be looking out for in the second half of our grand finals?
It's got to be Nanolite for me, who took that last game and also is back active with some pretty much a long disappearance, I'd say. After Anaheim, it was like, okay, he's kind of gone through FNCS duos, struggled to qualify, and now he's kind of back in the solos, back on West. He's on East Ping, so definitely a little bit of a disadvantage here, but this is kind of where we saw him start to rise to prominence.
Yeah, Nanolite maybe going to be one of our top contenders in the future DreamHack Opens, but obviously game number 3 did go to the way of Nano. So let's take a quick look at some of the rough highlights that we get to see in game number 3.
All right, well, that game was basically mid-game chaos followed by an end-game showdown for the ages. It started off with Midi, a nice pistol Elam onto cracked, but then it got a little bit more crazier after that. Avery, first place, getting taken out by Ladies Man, just opened up the entire top 10 to grab that #1 spot, and they all tried to grab it at the same time.
That they did, and this was another big fight. Furious and Macon, who were both contesting towards the top after their first couple of game performances, ended up getting pushed by, I believe it was 40R Storm, and Furious got taken out. Macon lost a lot too, but this is where it began for Epic Whale to get back into this game. The beams onto Optimal, and then Mark ended up fighting him for it, but Epic Whale still found a way to get back in. There was so much good for him, and this is something that Epic Whale needs to continue. It's either a good placement game like he did in game 2, or it's a mediocre placement around the top 12, top 10, and more than 5 elims, and he definitely got 6 in that game, so that was certainly good.
Yeah, it was Bucky, though, at the very end that just absolutely tore apart everyone on low ground, regardless of what region they were playing on. Couldn't actually make it all the way in. Yup, Nano, he took the L all over Bucky. He had that shockwave launcher to wrap up that game.
Yeah, congratulations again to Nanolite there, now in second place. But I do want to go back to Epic Whale, of course. And actually, before we talk a little bit more about him, let's pull up the top 20 to see exactly where these players are standing right now. Obviously, the 2 names that I just listed there, it's Epic Whale in first and Nanolite in second now. Midi is going to be holding third place right there with Who Fishy in fourth and Noel in fifth. But man, is that a stacked top 20 right there, Shayo.
It is, and there's so much to say about it. For me, top 10 looks really cool.
Yeah, seriously, but look at this. 1 point separating Epic Whale and Nanolite, and I said the duel was between Bucky and Nanolite, and sure, that definitely was the final duel, but look at where Bucky is in the bottom 20, and Epic Whale, those guys really, it was Epic Whale and Nanolite in that last game who pushed way up and took advantage of the opportunity that Ladies Man gave when he took out Avery in the early game. Avery at 120 points, he was stuck there. A freeze frame for him in game 3, unfortunately, but look at how many people have risen above him right now. But Epic Whale and Nanolite really took advantage of it.
They absolutely did. I just feel like that Bucky now being in the top 20 and Avery playing maybe a little bit more safer next game will make it that much harder for Epic to hold the lead.
I definitely have to agree with you there. Avery has now placed top 10 2 times that last game, though he definitely seemed to fall a little short. But if we know anything about Avery is that he's going to be able to stay late, be a bit more passive, of course. But I do want to pull up the drawing board right now to talk a little bit more about where we saw these top players land. And actually, can you talk to me a little bit about where we saw Nanolite land and where he rotated?
I'm not actually sure where Nano's landing. I mean, the famous path for him was through this bridge right here. It could be that he's still activating that, but he had a lot of innovative paths around the outskirts of the map, also towards the center, and also showed off storm surge bases basically for the not necessarily the first time, but really the prominence of him in DreamHack Anaheim was those surge bases where he'd set up on top of the gas station, set up on top of these little bases right here, where it's power positions that he can fire upon the rest of the lobby, downhill and down vision.
For me, specifically when it comes to big players who are kind of playing similarly to Nanolite in terms of how fast they get off of their drop spots, it's Bucky when he's in trouble. Now he lands over at Frenzy Farm, and this game he obviously did not have zone. It pulled slightly a little bit more towards that south side, or I think even the north side. Regardless, he quickly moved out towards Authority and claimed this entire side of the extra loot, both on the bridge, over at this little gas station, and of course near that house. After that, he basically had a huge game where he could bounce right back in to where the zone was and then play his game out after the fact.
Yeah, Shai, you're talking a little bit about Bucky's start, but I want to talk about his end game there because that was definitely the highlight that you pointed out to us. So let's actually pull up that replay right now to see how well Bucky did towards the end there.
Yeah, Epic Will might have been my pick for the player to watch, but the player that actually just dropped down and literally took the lobby by storm, pushing himself forcibly into the top 20 was Bucky. And I think it was through just eliminations. Remember, he had 2 games where he lost out on mid-game fights, didn't really make the top 20 really after all, but using the elims, he caught up now on all the placement that he lost. Took out Mr. Chris, took out so many players. Right now has 5 coming into the top 3. Legend Dian should have had control and position at the end, but he instantly just popped them off.
Bucky was only at 10 points before that game, Kelly. 83 points is where he put himself in that one game. So that was certainly a way to get back into it. Now in the top 20, now in striking distance, but he's got to continue that game.
Bala, speaking of highlights, was there a highlight that really stood out to you in game number 3?
Yeah, for me, it was Epic Whale, and the way that he's actually chasing these elims, the movement in this endgame. Remember, we were talking about the rotation path, and we were talking about how low he was in terms of materials, and he got one before this, but this tube box in a diagonal fashion to find not only the player is up there, but also to knock him down and grab that one, and then catching one out of zone before spotting his launch pad, before using that, because he knew he had extra time to hang back there. That put him on 5, got one more before falling outside slightly in the top 10.
Yeah, I mean, even with Epic Whale he dropped in 12th place there in that game. He is still holding first place for the grand finals, everyone. We are going to be jumping into game number 4 real soon, but we do have a quick break, so don't go anywhere, guys. We have Fortnite coming up after this.